Steelers Crazy Nation, I am JY. This is Michael Nicastro, and we have a very special guest this week, and we're going to be recapping the NFL draft. I think the Steelers did very well. Michael, how are you?
I'm good, man. Like I tweeted the other day, the Steelers got a draft grade that I've never seen in my life. Probably you either. Our grades were never that good growing up in high school and probably not even in middle school. So we're giving the Steelers something that we're unfamiliar with.
Omar Khan did his thing. Sammy, roll it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Harris Smith shields. Flacco Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Steelers draft frenzy. It's officially come to an end, and it's time to, hit the south side and get it done. So, Sammy, would you do the honors of bringing up the draft board?
Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? Man, is that pretty.
It is a beautiful
It doesn't get
thing.
old, man. I need to print that out as a poster and put it above my bedroom or something. Frame it, maybe just put it. I might get it tattooed on my chest. Let's get a shirt of that made. Let's just get a shirt straight down the line with that Steelers draft, because it is pretty, man. I think that would sell like crazy. That could be the new Sick Podcast shirt. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, because it's like it's right there in your face. Like it's not, you don't need to say anything. You can do your research on every single one of these players. I think that this was one of the best Steeler drafts in recent history. Omar Khan, obviously a new regime. And yeah, man, it's just amazing. Broderick Jones, we got Kenny Pickett's bodyguard. And at 32, we're still able to get Joey Porter Jr., and we'll talk about the other guys too. It was just a very deep draft. And I think that the Steelers excelled at everything and got everything that they need for the stuff that they needed to get back to winning football games and get back in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll offer a caveat for sure, which is you never know about a draft class, of course, until
on paper.
But at the end of the day, you give out draft grades, right? You have to at least have some type of takeaway based on how you feel about these players heading into the draft. Of course, not all of them are going to pan out. That's the National Football League. That's life, really, in any job. However, based on the tape we watched prior, right? Based on all of the pundits out there who study the draft and have made this one of the biggest, events of the entire year, the Steelers did an excellent job. They arguably got 5 players in the top 150. I don't think there's any question they got at least 4. Broderick Jones, a top 10 player in this class. You mentioned this future left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you could take future away. I think he's going to be the starting left tackle in week 1 for Kenny Pickett and this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Joey Porter Jr., a lot of us, including you, and, for good reason, thought he'd be the pick at 17.
Yeah.
And the Steelers liked him so much that I'm sure they got overwhelming trade offers for pick 32 that they didn't take because somebody wanted to move up into that pick, notably the Tennessee Titans, who moved into 33 to take Will Levis, who fell out of the first round. So Joey Porter Jr., home run, A+ on that too. Keanu Benton, kid out of Wisconsin, defensive tackle, who obviously fits a need for this team. Another A grade. And then I'm going to A+ for Darnell Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, you would talk about guys that were projected to literally go.
A giant.
He's an alien. He's a freaking alien, out of this world dude who could have gone in the late first round. I saw a ton of mocks that had him, I think, at 28 to Cincinnati because they're tight end deficient. Some had him going 32 to Kansas City. Ironically, Kansas City traded up in front of the Steelers in the 3rd round, pick 92, and I thought they were going to snake Darnell Washington, but they didn't take him. They left him for Pittsburgh. So that, for me, Jordan, is an A+ pick. And then you go to Herbig, Trice, 2 guys that a lot of people had in their top 150. I'll tell you what, man, Omar Khan wheeling and dealing and just absolutely dominating in his first draft. What else more can you say?
Yeah, and I think it goes back to kind of what I was talking about when I tweeted prior to the draft about the nepotism with Joey Porter Jr. I mean, he's a great player, physical, strong, everything you look for in a cornerback. And then how great does it Nick Herbig gets to join his brother Nate. I mean, Nate just gets signed to the Steelers, and then his brother gets the call up to the big leagues. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, hey, if the Steelers want to have the brothers, and as long as they're producing, everyone was saying that about Connor Haywood. You seen what he brought to the table last season and what he's capable of. I just think it's amazing, and I'm seeing a lot of stuff around on Twitter, especially about Corey Trice and saying how that was a late round steal as well. You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, and I got to keep it completely real. I didn't know a whole lot about Corey Trice until the Steelers took him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 6'3", just like Joey Porter Jr. He's going to be one of the tallest corners in that room, which the Steelers, of course, needed. They need size on the outside, and these guys have a chance to be really good in press coverage. But Corey Trice, an absolutely incredible story. His father died at a young age. He, is incredibly motivated, hardworking guy. This is a guy who thought he'd be a third, fourth round draft pick, and he has been playing, and not just playing football, but having a great academic career in honor of his father. Corey, I think, was a 4-time all academic player at Purdue, so he's got a great head on his shoulders. He really is a special person. And I think those are the qualities that Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin look for in a next Pittsburgh Steeler, right? So I'm rooting really hard for this guy. And a lot of times, seventh rounders, they don't make the team, right? We're aware of that, but I think Corey Trice is different.
Yeah.
I think this is a guy
Well,
that is going to make an impact, Jordan.
definitely. And I don't want to cut you off, but I think we
Yeah.
have a very, very special guest joining us.
Speaking of Jordans,
Speaking of Jordans, 2 Jordan, 1 Mike, none other than Steelers running back Jordan Bird.
Jay
Hey, how you
Bird.
doing?
Jordan, how are
doing?
you?
Good, good. Thank you for having me on the show for sure.
Yeah, hey,
Man,
we're
we're
sorry
excited.
about the mountain time stuff. We're over
I
here
know
in
I'm still trying
Pittsburgh.
to get used to it as well.
I hear you. Hey, but we appreciate you joining us. Mike, go ahead. You can lead the way.
Of course, man. We got one of the most dynamic dudes in the country on. I mean, how could we not be pumped here on the Sick Podcast? Steelers Crazy. Mountain West Special Teams Player of the Year right here. Paul Hornung watch list for literally the most versatile player in college football for the last 3 years. We mentioned it is Jordan Bird. Jordan, first of all, man, let's just get right to it. How excited are you to be a Pittsburgh Steeler?
Oh yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm can't wait to start working with the team. Just really honored to have this opportunity to play with the Steelers for sure. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Before we get into the details of Pittsburgh and what, the Steelers are going to bring to the table, let's talk about the journey a little bit, all right? So you're a New Mexico kid. You grow up there. You're an absolute baller in high school. You're playing quarterback, am I right, in high school?
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah, I was a quarterback in high school.
that's crazy to me, man. So you're somebody that has obviously seen the field from a ton of different positions, but tell me how that helped your game, right? Because you're this versatile Swiss Army knife type guy, but you started out as somebody who's literally sitting back in the pocket, reading the defense and running the show.
Oh yeah, yeah. I played quarterback since I was little, so kind of has some skin under my belt. So it was really nice to have that. Playing quarterback in high school really helped me in college. Just reading defenses and just watching things move around. College is a different ball coming from high school, so it was really nice being a quarterback to read all that stuff and bring that into my game.
You head to San Diego State, you become an Aztec, and you become somebody who quickly jumps on the national scene, man. One of the best kick returners and punt returners in the entire country. Listen, I would go as far as saying the best kick returner and punt returner in the entire country. You did it all. You were running back, you were able to catch it out of the backfield. How much pride do you take in your ability to be, like I said before, a Swiss Army knife, somebody who has experience at kick returner, running back, and can catch it?
Oh yeah, being a returner, that's not an easy job. It takes practice, it takes a lot of hard work. When I first went into college, I wasn't even a returner. I've never returned the ball ever, so it was kind of hard process of going into games and finding out what I needed to do to be the best returner out there. I talked to my coaches; they really believed in me. I had some rough games my freshman sophomore year as a returner, and I guess they believed in me, and all the hard work, going to spring ball, just working hard as a returner, really helped me out and got to where I'm at right now.
Definitely. You said the Steelers were interested in you in pre-draft. What were some of those conversations like, and what did they say to you? Like, did you know that, you were going to get the call, and kind of just talk about how that, how everything transpired?
Yeah, I had a FaceTime call or a Zoom call with special teams coordinator. So it was really nice to talk to him, see what he liked about me, see what things I needed to change. We talked about some of my flaws as well. That's one thing I really like to talk about with coaches is my flaws. One thing I want to work on in practice and just work on with them as well. And we had really good communication. Talking with how I being more aggressive on the field. I'm not the biggest guy on the field, but I'm for sure going to be the most aggressive on that field.
And the fastest.
Try to be, yes, sir. Yeah, so they really helped me out. We went over some of the stuff. He said I had more checklists than anybody that he's ever done. So it was really nice to hear that. Gave me more. It got me confident in what I can do on the field for sure. So I'm glad that the Steelers picked me up.
Definitely. Have the Steelers talked to you about your role yet, or are you kind of just in the beginning phases?
Just in the beginning phases right now. Hopefully I'll learn more probably next week, going into rookie camp. So, just ready for anything they throw at me, I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Pittsburgh, like playing in college? Did you ever play against Pitt or any other teams in Pennsylvania? Have you ever been to Pennsylvania?
No. I actually haven't. I'm really
Wow.
excited to be over there. Never been over there in that region, so I'm excited for that.
Most definitely. So an NFL player that you kind of modeled yourself after, coming up, just talk about that. Did you have someone that you kind of, I don't know, it could be any position really, but someone who you looked up to, like a mentor, even someone in the league any guys that in the league?
Oh yeah. My cousin, he plays for the Panthers now, Jameer Bird. I looked up to him as well. So he was one of my favorite players. And Tariq Hill, that's one player I look after too. He's fast and speedy too. So that's one person that I try to put my game as. Just because how fast he is.
Most definitely. I was watching the highlight reel before this, man, and I was just like, it was like, man, I was like, I cannot believe how fast I was. So I was like, man, I'm not just saying that. I mean, we do a lot of research on guys, and it was like, man, this dude turned on the burners. Like, I was watching the highlights. People already have Steeler highlight, reels with you, man. Because Pittsburgh is a football town, and we embrace everyone. And the Steeler Crazy Sick podcast is going to be rooting for you all the way. So most definitely.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Jordan. I want to talk a little bit about the fact that we think you're going to go in with a chip on your shoulder. You're obviously somebody from the outside looking in. We think should have been drafted. Of course, listen, this is a league where plenty of undrafted guys get opportunities and become stars, Hall of Famers. It does happen. But what kind of chip on your shoulder are you going in with, man?
Oh yeah, I gotta have a chip on my shoulder. I'm not the biggest guy out there, so I mean, I gotta go out there and prove that I can play football. It doesn't matter what size you are, no matter where you came from. I'm from New Mexico. Not really many people come out from New Mexico. I just gotta represent and just go out there and just have fun. That's one thing I love about football is having fun. It's not at the end of the day it's a job, but also it's fun. It's having fun out there, and that's one thing I love to do is to go out there and prove people that I can be the best on that field.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there any guy on the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, that roster, where you're like, damn, I get to play with that guy? That's pretty freaking cool.
Oh, yeah, I'd say Najee Harris. I've been looking up to him, especially coming from Alabama, watching him play in college. It's really amazing, and get to have him on my team is going to be amazing for sure.
I'm not sure if you know these names. I want to tell you about a couple Steelers that came to mind when I thought about you. The first is Willie Parker. I don't know if you ever heard that name.
Yes.
Willie Parker,
Fast
undrafted
Willie.
free agent out of North Carolina. Fast Willie. Guy has the longest run in Super Bowl history. Starred as a Steelers running back for a long time.
Yeah.
And then you probably heard the name Antoine Randall a time or two.
Yes,
I thought about you when it came to mind.
He was a quarterback in college as well.
Played receiver, kick returner, and so like that those are some guys that you're going to see Twitter comps, right? People are going to be, you know, when you head out to training camp on the Trope, people are going to be like, "You're the next Randall Well, you're the
Oh
next Willie Parker."
yeah.
You could be like, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
I know those guys.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. I mean, it's gonna be an honor to get to be called one of those names. You know, they're hell of athletes, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
really nice.
Definitely. Tell us some things that, Steeler Nation might not know about you. It doesn't even have to be football. We always just, when we have guys on here, we always just like to ask, something personal. It can be a hobby. It can be something you enjoy doing, a skill that you might have outside of football that people
Oh
might not know
yeah.
about. You might like comic books, whatever it may be.
Yeah, yeah. I'm into bowling. That's
Oh,
one thing I
wow.
love. I love bowling. So I got my own bowling balls, own bowling shoes, and everything. So every time I get a chance to play bowling, I go. So that's one
Most
thing. You know, I
definitely.
love. Yes, sir.
Well,
And I
there's a
love
lot of
sewing
bowling
too.
alleys in Pittsburgh because there's when the weather gets cold, that's about what everyone does. They go
Oh
bowling,
yeah.
watch the Steeler game, get some chicken wings. I think that's why Steeler football is so important here. Obviously, the rich tradition, but we don't have beaches in Pittsburgh, and it's just pretty much you get a permani sandwich and you watch Steelers football, chicken wings. But yeah, this city, you're really gonna like this city, and I could already tell just from the outside looking in that this city is definitely rooting for you.
You ever
Yes,
So
bowl
sir.
300?
Almost. Not
Really?
too. My highest is 230 right now. So I'm trying
wow.
to trying to get
That's
that
still
300.
impressive.
And I still have the bumpers on, so
He got the
Oh
bumpers on.
yeah. I have to
100%.
teach y'all a little something. I'll teach you guys some stuff.
most definitely. So when you get to Pittsburgh, what are your plans? Like, if they have the Steelers told you, like, are you going to be heading here soon, or you still?
I should be there May 11th. That's my day that they
Okay.
had for me. So, right before rookie camp. So we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Pittsburgh you're looking at right here. I know you
All
guys have been
righty.
talking on the gram. So whatever you need to learn about the city,
Yes, sir.
he's got the music ties, he's got the background ties. So Jordan, all right, what advice, Jordan York, do you have for Jordan Bird right now about being a Pittsburgher? I got to hear this.
Justin, a lot of nice parks. Go out, enjoy the parks. Downtown's nice. There's a lot of good steakhouses. Most importantly, man, I'm the same way. I wake up early. I stay out of trouble. Just focus on my goals. It's easy, man. You seem like a routine guy. But anything that I can say about Pittsburgh, if you give love to Pittsburgh, they'll love you forever, no matter what. So I think you're going to be in good hands here, most definitely. And I think
Yes,
that
sir.
Steeler Nation is going to be very excited to see, how fast you are, because I can't say this enough, man. It was watching that highlight. I was like, I blinked and I'm like, this dude's already in the end zone. I'm like, but yeah, man, Pittsburgh is a
Jordan,
great city.
one last thing
Thank you.
before we get you out of here. What are your thoughts
Yes,
on
sir.
Mike Tomlin?
Oh yeah, Mike Tomlin is an amazing coach. Seeing that he was an amazing football player as well, and just watching, having him as my coach, it's going to be an honor. The history of the Steelers is incredible, and having him as my coach is going to be a good honor for sure.
Definitely. Well, I guess I got to get my bowling shoes out of retirement now when you touch down in a Steel City.
Oh yeah, let me know. I'm ready whenever you're ready. So.
All right. Well, I'll let you get settled in and stuff. And if of course if you need help with anything, me and Mike are always here to lend a hand in whatever you may need. But we really appreciate you coming on the show, and I'll definitely see you up at training camp and all around Pittsburgh. And just keep at it, man. I think you're going to do great things in the black and gold.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys again for having me on the show.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Jordan. Good stuff, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Man,
Man, I can't wait to watch him return kicks in the preseason. I can't wait. That's going to be dope.
Listen, I'm gonna repeat this for the third time on this podcast. I was watching and I literally was like, dude, it didn't even look like a human being. It just looked like a comet was just I'm knocking over the mic and stuff. Like
You
a
almost
comet
broke
was
your
just,
microphone.
was just running down the thing. But yeah, just in most importantly, something that dude is just a great kid. You can tell. Man, quarterback and call. I'm getting like Antoine Randall L vibes, definitely.
Telling you, man. And once again, we were touching on the Steelers draft before our boy Jordan Bird joined us. It goes beyond the draft. These undrafted free agents have a big impact a lot of times, right? There are always diamonds in the rough, as you say. So we grade the draft class all the time. we need to grade the undrafted free agents as well. We need to lump those in with the guys because, yeah, man, we've talked about it. There have been a lot of undrafted free agents, not just on the Steelers, but in this league that have made profound impacts. I think of somebody like Stephon Logan, and I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure
James
he was
Harrison.
he was undrafted. I think Stephon Logan was he was returning kicks and punts to the
Yeah.
Steelers for a few years.
What about
But
Hank
I'm pretty sure
Poteet?
an undrafted guy. Hank Poteet, I think he was drafted. I think he was
Okay.
out of
I don't know.
West
I
Virginia,
just like
right?
saying Hank
Well,
Poteet's name. And
that's
when
your
I was
guy.
saying what I was saying about the clarified about Randall Ellis, because I do remember him. I think what did he go to Indiana? Is that where he went to college?
Indiana
And
quarterback.
I remember him watching. I remember watching him at quarterback, and I was so confused. And I'm like, why is this guy lining up at wide receiver? Like when, and I had to like. It was
Double
just
take.
crazy. So I can't imagine him being and going to running back, and that's insane.
Guys that can play everywhere have a chance
Athletic
to make it in different
it's just-
spots, right? Like Steelers could potentially use a third down back. I know that they're going to go into the season likely with Najee Harris. Well, I shouldn't say likely. Of course, he's a starting running back, but likely filling out the backfield with Jalen Warren, and then who knows after that? Kind of a mystery. Benny Snell's a free agent. I don't think he'll be back. Anthony McFarland. Every year we have high hope for him. He has one run in the preseason that makes you say, "Oh my gosh, this is the Anthony McFarland year," and then gets 2 carries a season. So there are roster spots open at running back, legitimate roster spots, and
yeah.
I don't think Anthony McFarland's a true third down back.
Do you
The
think
Steelers use Warren and Najee there, but I think they'd like to get them off the field for their pass catcher.
Something I wanted to ask you after having Jordan on, and I love him dearly on the field, a great player. Jalen Warren, do you think that he solidified the number 2 spot with last year?
I do. Yeah, he was really good. And listen, the Steelers want to run the ball even more this year. That's why Andy Weidl went out and got Isaac Samalo, right? That's why
injuries happen.
Man,
you've seen it. It's
like got Broderick Jones.
You have to have depth in running back, especially. I mean, I know he wants to. He's a workhorse and can take that, but you need a running back, like a solid 2-3 running back. Third down.
Who else is going to help in the run game?
Return.
Darnell Washington, the 6'0" lineman he calls himself. You want to talk about
best blocking tight end?
Maybe in the world. You want to talk about
that's high praise already. I mean, he is 6'7".
Darnell, Broderick, Samalo. You bring in Nate Herbig. I mean, you're going to put them together with the likes of Mason Cole and James Daniels, and you're going to run the shit out of the ball.
And that's what I tried. Like today, I tweeted. I said they're on paper, and I will say on paper, and that's more of a Cleveland Browns thing because they like to be the paper champs. Just wanted to throw that out there. Is that on paper, when you're looking at the Steelers, they literally almost made the playoffs last year with the team that they had. And you're going to tell me that they're not better on paper going into the 2023 season?
Much better. The problem is the AFC is better as a whole, too. Because when you switch Aaron Rodgers over to the Jets, the team didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yes, but let's talk AFC North real quick before we get out of here. Did the Cincinnati Bengals address the offensive line? Because realistically, that's the only threat. I'm not worried about a 30-year-old Odell Beckham and Lamar Jackson, who probably he's 2-3 against the Steelers, and we're basically facing Tyler Huntley every season. So
I still put the Bengals at the top of the division, and
of course
you don't. But
no, I mean I do, but I'm just saying
there.
We beat them in overtime. Remember?
We were there. Yeah, last year, game 1 at Gimme's Thanksgiving. They got Orlando Brown, so I think they're giving Joe Burrow more protection. Drafted some linemen as well, but they're 1 for me, and the Steelers are 2. They just are. I think you're right. They have improved more than the Baltimore Ravens have. I just don't think you can put the Ravens at clear 2 or 1 before you don't know, I should say, if Lamar Jackson is going to play a whole season. He hasn't recently. So how can
I tell everyone I'm happy he got paid, good for him, but it's like, to me, it's like, man, dude, I mean, that dude, the way that he plays it, he's just injury prone. He is great when he's on the field, but how often is he on the field? I mean, how many athletes, I know injuries are a part of the game, but I'm just saying, as an analyst and trying to break stuff down, I got to tell it how it is. I mean, if you're injured, you're injured. There's great players that, are injured.
We've had a few different really smart people on this show, the likes of Sam Munson at PFF, Dave Damashek, a lot of people that we've asked the question like, where are the Steelers in the AFC North? And I think universally they're placed behind the Bengals. I've seen pretty much everywhere I've seen them above the Ravens, and you know what else I've seen? The Browns pretty much consensus fourth place every time because they didn't really have much of an opportunity to get better. When you have
there was a bunch of Browns
fans
fan chirping because they didn't get any draft picks, and they see what the Steelers are doing, and they're stuck with Deshaun Watson, who still is a big question mark.
When you put $700 million to your quarterback, you're not going to be able to sign much in free agency. They made some plays at receiver. Elijah Moore is who knows, coming from the Jets. Amari Cooper is getting a little longer in the tooth, but he had a great year last year. Nick Chubb's getting longer in the tooth, but I don't doubt him. But that for me, they finished fourth last year, and I think I have a hard time envisioning them playing better football, at least to the degree where they'll finish higher than the Steelers and Ravens. Definitely not. All right.
So again, it's been another great episode. We want to thank Steelers' new running back, Jordan Byrd, for joining us. We have another special guest coming later this week. And I think that we're just going to stamp it right here and we'll end on this. I think that you could call Vegas and put in the bet now. The Steelers and Eagles Super Bowl 2024.
I thought you were going to say Steelers over win total. I think it's right now at 8.5 or 9.5. That's free money too.
According to our friend Dave, he said 11. So
free money.
Free money. Who doesn't like free money? But this has been a great episode. I can't wait to see Jordan on the field, man. Just electrifying. That's the only way to put it. So we really appreciate him joining us. And I'm going to go dust off my bowling shoes. And we'll see you on Thursday on another episode of the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy.
No more bumpers. No more bumpers.
Man, listen, I'm the one. I gotta roll that ball. Listen, man, I'll just
roll with two hands.
Yeah, they bring out the little thing and I just roll the ball down the thing. Remember, like at Fun Fest?
Yeah, like they put for the 6-year-olds.
Yes. All right, I am Jay York Football. This is Mic'd Up Sports One. Sammy, play it.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.